Today, I'm just going to flip out. Greetings and welcome back to another exciting and adventurous episode of the Vodkast. I'm your host as always, DMJ. Now today what I want to talk about is flipping the script a little bit. What does that mean exactly? It means a few things to me, but the most important thing out of the 3 rules when it comes to flipping the script: don't do it very often, know when to use it, and know where to use it. I don't know where the 3 came from. Earlier today, I came up with 3, but that's close as I could get. Flipping the script is kind of a Drizzt of the D&D world, where you take a character, a monster, a situation that normally would lend to evil, and you flip it on its head and you make them the good guys, or vice versa. I once had this idea about a king who was loyal to his people, he loved his people, and he hires this group of adventurers to go out to find his son who's been captured, or whatever the story happens to be. And of course, the party does a few other jobs for him. They get to know him, they make a connection, a bond with him, and of course, when his son goes missing, they're going to go out and try to get his son back. But what happens is you bring his son back, and the father immediately throws him in jail and sentences him to death. Now, the party has to react to this in such a way because they're so used to this guy being the friendly guy, the family guy, and all of a sudden, he's not acting very family-friendly. So how do they react to that? I think it's a great tool, one of the best tools you have at your disposal, being a DM. Being able to flip the script at any given time and pull it off is a real tough thing to do. You really kind of need to plan it out for a little while. You need something prepared, and maybe even almost at the beginning of your campaign that you're starting. This is, of course, referring to my homebrew campaign of Athalia. You guys might use, Forgotten Realms. You might use Dragonlance, whatever it may be. But it's taking let's take a Sturm Brightblade. Wouldn't it be great if somewhere in the story he decided, fuck it, you know what, Raceland's right, I'm going to go join him and stabs Tannis to death or something. That's the thing that I'm talking about when you're flipping the script. You can also do it with monsters, which I love to do a lot of the time, with kobolds and goblins specifically. I don't know why, but I love role-playing them as a DM, not necessarily as a player, but when they're an NPC in my game, I love it, and I love giving them accents. It's a little bit harder to do nowadays because sometimes I feel like I'm being racist, and I'm trying not to be, or speciesist. That sounds right. Anywho, I like playing those characters, and normally, if you think about the multitudes of D&D games that you've played in your life, there's a good chance that almost every goblin, every kobold, every whatever it may be, was evil, and it was there to fight you and win. That was its goal. But when you can take like the Drizzt kind of theory and flip it and make a goblin a good guy, or make a kobold a good guy, and maybe somebody who could really help the party out. I love doing things like that. It's like I said, you've got to be really careful with it too. You can't do it all the time, or your players are always going to be waiting for, is this guy going to flip on us? Is he going to trade? Is this a good guy? Is it a bad guy? They're going to start going up to bugbears in the woods and try to give them hugs to become their friends because they expect them to be. So that's the nice thing about it, is always keeping them on their toes, and always having the ability to take a species or a monster or whatever it may be, one of the NPCs. I love doing it with NPCs in the game where they form this lifelong bond with them, and then all of a sudden, you realize that this guy has been luring them along the whole time, using them to get what he needed done. It's a great tool, like I said, and it's a tool that if you use it properly within story elements, I think it's great. For a moment, let's just take a look at the player's perspective. I've been a player in a game where I've had the wool pulled out underneath me, and those are the most memorable experiences that I can remember in D&D. Those times when your good friend betrays you, or vice versa, the enemy that you've been coming after actually has been the one who has been helping them all along. He's actually trying to expose this larger plot, and he's been using this misinformation about him to kind of garner a reputation so that he could get the party's attention and be like, hey, guys, I could use your help. But I honestly don't think there's anything better than having the party working for the bad guy and only coming to the end of the campaign and discovering that they've been the bad guys all along. It's something that I haven't used and I'm not currently using in my game. If any of my players are watching right now, don't worry that you're not the bad guys. Or are you? I guess we'll have to find out in a future game. However, flipping the script is one of my favorite tools to use for D&D. If you've never tried it before one of your games, I highly recommend doing it. make one of their friends a bad guy and just see how it brings out the role-playing aspects of the game. And that's it. Like I've always said, that's my favorite part of the game. Sure, I love combat. I love setting up a really cool and interesting combat. But the meat and potatoes of D&D to me is getting to play a character and, live out this character's life and be this person. I can't be in this world because, I'm not really good with swords or whatever it might be, or there is no magic. Don't ever let anybody tell you there is no magic in this world. And as a DM, I love to play a villain that gets to interact with the party, or a hero that gets to interact with the party, and give your party the opportunity to say things that they would say to a bad guy in real life, knowing that there's a good chance you're probably never going to encounter a real bad guy face to face. You might walk in on a robbery or something like that, but unless you're good with swords, then I guess you should probably just, bow out of that situation. Anywho, building years of friendship with a character, or several months of friendship with a character, or some kind of relationship with an NPC, and then flipping the script is really fun to do. Now I feel like I'm just talking in circles, so I'm going to let you guys go. I'm really sorry. This is a weak week. I have been very sick the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm just trying to muscle through it at this point. However, I wanted to provide you guys with something today. So if you thought it was okay, let me know in the comments below. If you've ever had a situation in your game where you flipped the script and really just took your characters, completely from left field, let me know about that in the comments below. Maybe we can share some stories and help each other in some games. Speaking of stories and games and stuff, there is there's a change in the wind. I can smell it. And starting in April of next year, I believe the channel is going to go lean more in the D&D direction. It seems like you guys like these videos more than any of my other videos that I make. And if you guys have never seen them before, check out this. I don't know what it is. It could be the Road to 50. It could be my Oreo reviews. But I do have a channel that's just kind of a smorgasbord, a cornucopia, if you will, Okay, I guess I don't need any more analogies to get my point. We're going to be doing a lot more D&D after my birthday, which is, I'm on the road to 50 now. I turn 50 February 28th. And after that date, we're going to start marching towards doing some more D&D content. And some of that content is, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, and I'm going out on a limb saying this, but Dungeons and Dragons and drawing, yes. A friend of mine, Artie, you may have seen him in episodes like this where we get together and we draw. Have come up with this concept, this idea. We're not exactly sure what it's going to be. We haven't ironed it out. We're supposed to get together real soon. We're going to talk about it. And I think I might even release that as a video for you guys to see and comment on. So if there's something you want to see in the future coming from the Vodkast does Dungeons and Dragons, let me know. Dungeons and Dragons and drawing is going to be big because I think it's going to be fun. We got some concepts, some monster creation ideas. I don't want to give away too much right now, but as soon as that's ready to go, I'll let you guys know a little bit more about that. And if you guys are loving the content I'm creating as much as I love creating the content that you guys are watching, would you please consider subscribing to the channel? It would be a huge help for me. Thank you very, very, very much from the bottom of my heart. Don't forget to make somebody smile today, and don't hit your elbow on the desk when you're trying to do your outro. Make yourself a better person tomorrow than you were today. Tomorrow. Let's make the world spin a little bit happier and a little bit nerdier. All together as one. Singing and dancing in the sun and in the rain, my brothers and sisters. Live life to the fullest and love every moment of it, because you just never know when that last moment's going to come for you. However, never live in fear of that moment. Always live in love, but never let your inner child die. Ooh-wee. Take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and take care of those around you who cannot take care of themselves, for they are the ones that need it the most. And if no one has told you today that they love you, the Vodcast loves you very much, just the way you are. All right, guys, do no harm. I'm Geycen Oliveira. This is the Vodcast, and I'll catch you guys a little bit further on down the road to 50. Take care, my friends, and happy adventuring.
Don't go to sleep with a catch it in your pocket.